Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Hunter, and today we're looking at one final game from the Blizzcon Invitational. Spawning at the 2 o'clock position is going to be Dimaga. He is the red Zerg player. At the 8 o'clock position is going to be WhiteRa, spawning as the teal Protoss player. Both of these players off the European server, both of them from the Ukraine. Very well respected and very talented, you know, in their own rights. So I'm really looking forward to casting this matchup. As I mentioned before, it is from the BlizzCon Invitational. It's actually from the lower bracket. So, nonetheless, each of these players eliminated a lot of people to get to the 5th round, I believe, of this lower bracket. So, it should be a good game. Both of these players wanting to make a bit of a comeback. And, yeah, not sure who's going to win it, but we will find out soon. It should shape up to be a really good game for you guys, okay? So, to just talk quickly about sort of the spawn locations, we've got cross-positional, so very long rush distance by ground and by air for that matter. These spawn locations, I would say, favor the Zerg player simply because Zergs usually rely on, you know, more of a macro-based play. You got to stay one base ahead of your opponent, so it's a little bit easier not only to pick up this natural expansion, but when you need a third as well, whether it be the 7 o'clock, you know, or the gold. It is easier to take the third base when you're cross-positional as opposed to, you know, having a 3 o'clock base and then one at the 6 o'clock here. It certainly is going to make the life of Dimaga a little bit easier in this situation. And look at that, WhiteRa putting down a pylon here, going to block the hatchery. We see the mineral count for Dimaga. He just put down this spawning pool right now, but a moment ago he was at like 350 minerals. He wanted to put down a fast expand, but WhiteRa getting this probe here in the nick of time to deny it with the pylon. Really like that play, forcing Dimaga off of his, you know, build order, you know, playing with his mindset a little bit. He's going to be forced to put down this early spawning pool, following up with an extractor as well. So definitely a strong play by WhiteRa early, as the game plan for Dimaga is certainly thrown off. With Gateway gone up at the top of the ramp, following it up with the Cybernetics core, chrono boosting probes out as well. Already got 3 probes mining the initial assimilator. I like this little wall off as well, just enough room for 1 zealot. You can actually see the rally point from that gateway. Going to block off that ramp completely. And yeah, so going to see how long it takes for Dimaga to get some Zerglings out and to take down that pylon, as that probe's stealing just a few minerals as well. And we do actually have, let's take a look on the production tab. 4 Zerglings out and 4 more on the way. Pretty heavy on the Zerglings. Don't know if he really needs this many this early, but nonetheless, it looks like the pylon is going to get taken down any moment. And you can see like the mineral count again on Dimaga getting all the way up to, you know, 550 before he can finally put down this hatchery. So definitely altered build order, as we do have the metabolic boost on the way. Very common strategy amongst Zerg players as well, to just get enough gas for, you know, 100 gas for the metabolic boost, then take all 3 drones off the extractor, putting them back on minerals. So you can see on the income tab, pure minerals on the way at this point. So it doesn't look like we're going to see any early lair tech or anything of that nature. Looks like this poor probe is going to get taken out any moment, as he's got half dozen or more Zerglings on his tail. This is actually a lot of Zerglings from Dimaga here in the early game. I mean, he's got like 10 or 12 out already, and whoa, queuing up 10 more. So we are going to see some early pressure. So not only is he going a less macro heavy build, it looks like Dimaga here is going to go for a pretty early attack with these speedlings. The metabolic boost just finishing up right now. 2 stalkers out already, and chrono boosting out his warp gate research. 2 more gateways on the way as well. Now mining with 6 workers on gas at his main base. Yeah, warp gate research just going to finish up, and we're going to see where WhiteRa takes his build from here. The speedlings are ready, are in position as well. We got 26 speedlings already moving in here, and it doesn't look like WhiteRa realizes this is coming yet, but it's going to be very difficult, I mean, for Dimaga to get up this ramp. But as I'm saying that, it looks like WhiteRa's actually moving out. It looks like he might be, yeah, I mean, with this many minerals in the bank, he is going to try to take a natural expansion pretty early here, especially for a Protoss player. But Dimaga sees this, and he is going to move in with these speedlings, getting a pretty decent surround, but force fields certainly making it a little bit more difficult for the speedlings. Turning on the health bars for you guys. we see that looks like these Speedlings are going to get taken out. A lot of damage going on these Stalkers. I mean, these 3 units alone, 16 hit points left on that Stalker. I mean, only a few left on the Sentry and Zealots as well. So it was pretty clutch putting up those 2 force fields, preventing the Speedlings from getting that perfect surround. So pretty good micromanagement by our Protoss player. Getting initial spine up, going to continue to inject Larva. 2 Vespian Geysers still vacant at the natural expansion for Dimaga, and Lair Tech on the way. Pretty curious to see what kind of Lair Tech Dimaga is going to go for. Still continuing to poke just a little bit with these Zerglings, turning on the vision of Dimaga. Very important to keep units at the front door of your opponent. You're going to want to know exactly when your opponent is moving out. You're going to try to keep an eye on the unit composition, and that is certainly what Dimaga is doing at this point. He has scouted the Forge for sure, and chances are he's seen that upgrade as well, as we do have ground weapons level 1 on the way, and lots of units getting warped in. I believe that WhiteRa is getting ready for a timing attack. And yeah, again, Speedlings here. Going to see the Protoss army moving out, and he saw that there was an upgrade going on the Forge, I do believe. So, giving Dimaga that vital information, and how has Dimaga chosen to react to this early timing attack from the Protoss player? Holy cow, putting up 7 Spine Crawlers. That is some pretty sturdy defense. Spine Crawlers with 2 armor and 300 hit points, going to make it make the lives of these gateway units very difficult for WhiteRa, and putting up another couple gateways as well. So as soon as this natural expansion really gets going along with the main, we are going to see production coming from 5 gateways, 5 warp gates rather, and WhiteRa putting a pylon in position with the Xel'Naga. 1 Zergling here at the 10 o'clock. Going to keep an eye on that, seeing if WhiteRa wants to take a 3rd. And I want to take a look. Let's see Dimaga's vision. I mean, he knows about this proxy. I don't think my Dimaga knows the exact positioning of the Protoss army here. And let's just, for the next minute or so, keep it on WhiteRa's vision. He's moving in for an attack, and out of nowhere, oh crap, like 7 spines, 8 spines in position. Going to make it very difficult for these gateway units, and it looks like they are going to get forced back. Sort of poking a little bit with his Speedlings as well. Very sturdy defenses here. I'm not sure if this push is going to work for WhiteRa. As I'm saying that, the Spire has completed. Flyer upgrade level 1 and 7 Mutalisks on the production tab as well. So very frustrating for WhiteRa to have produced so many units at this stage in the game. Trying to push in, but just too many spines to engage, and these Speedlings going to retreat to the Spine Crawlers as well. Now, overhead, in the air, we do have Mutalisks, and I would have liked it if Dimaga could have kept them, hidden for just a little bit longer, but this Protoss force certainly did spot them. So, as a result, WhiteRa is going to be warping some Stalkers into his main base, as the harassment of these for these Mutalisks is not going to be as easy at all. 5 Stalkers already. Already losing two Mutalisks already. Another one goes down. That's 3 Mutalisks down. Very expensive losses early here for Dimaga. Going to try to get a couple shots off the pylon. Doesn't work out. Almost loses another Mutalisk with 13 hit points left. So very Stalker heavy here as we're approaching the mid game, and certainly going to make the lives of these Mutalisks more difficult. Speedlings moving into position as well, and a 12 o'clock base going down for Dimaga. So expanding a little bit further from home. It surprised me a little bit. Good thing he's got the Xel'Naga. He sees these Protoss forces, manages to retreat in time, not losing any more Mutalisks, and just slightly off. WhiteRa placed the force field right here. Had he placed it like 1 hex over, all the Speedlings would have been trapped, and they would have gotten massacred by these gateway units. So lucky for Dimaga in that situation. Moving some units into position to defend this 12 o'clock base, and looking at the vision of WhiteRa, he is not aware of that 12 o'clock base, and oh, that is not what you want to be losing. Dimaga just lost 3 more Mutalisks to these gateway units. Now moving in with Speedlings, but good choke point with the Forge in the gateway. Going to prevent the Speedlings from getting a good surround. Zealot's going to clean that up, and the Stalkers are going to force away the the Mutalisks as well. These Speedlings choose not to engage here. So yeah, a little bit of a mismicroing by Dimaga. I mean, a moment ago with those Mutalisks, losing like 3 of them here. That was a missed rally point, I believe, from one of the hatcheries. And still unaware of this of this main base, but I think WhiteRa has a suspicion, and yes, it is going to be confirmed as he moves in with about 7 or so Stalkers, some Zealots as well. This is a lot of Mutalisks overhead, and that bouncing glaive, quite powerful, especially when these Mutalisks start moving into these very high numbers. Speedlings moving into position as well. So for the time being, it looks like this 12 o'clock base is going to be defended. Auxiliary hatchery up and running as well, as the economy for the Zerg player is going to be booming, and he's going to need those extra larvae for sure. This looks like it's going to be a big engagement as well. WhiteRa moving into position on the high ground, getting a lot of Stalkers in here, and this is not looking good for Dimaga in this situation. Dimaga waiting for a few more Mutalisks before he chooses to engage. Lots of Mutalisks moving in overhead. Again, getting that bouncing damage. Those force fields going down, preventing the Zerglings from getting a good surround. But look at this, a lot of Zerglings coming from behind. A few more force fields are going to hold these Zerglings back for the time being. But these Mutalisks just doing a lot of damage. Those bouncing glaives just tearing apart these Stalkers. And this, a very decisive battle for Dimaga. A lot of Stalkers lost in that situation. So it looks like now Blink is done. Definitely helpful against Mutalisks. Going to be able to blink underneath the Mutas and get more shots off. 2 Stalkers getting surrounded there, and now going for an assault on the gold base. The Mutalisks overhead still raining chaos. The Stalker numbers dwindling for sure. Only a couple left. Speedlings are going to clean that up. The cannons go down, and no pylon. Well, there is one left for WhiteRa if he wants to warp in more units, but I do not advise it, as they would take a lot of damage before they even, were able to attack, of course. And I'm not seeing any more reinforcements from WhiteRa, so it looks like this gold base is going to get taken down. This hatchery barely surviving. Good thing it's got the extra hit points from that recent patch. Pretty full saturation here, and then a 4th base as well. This is actually pretty much a double expand, as this base, that hatchery, was placed only a few moments after the 12 o'clock base. These assimilators going to get cleaned up, and now WhiteRa, unfortunately, reduced to 2 bases. It is not looking good for our Ukrainian pro of WhiteRa, as, I mean, Dimaga at this point pretty content. It appears to just, macro up. He's on 4 bases, and having a Zergling up here, being assured that WhiteRa is still stuck on 2 bases, going to be definitely a good position for Dimaga here. Dark Shrine on the way, but I'm not sure if that is going to be enough, as we do have a final assault here. These Speedlings getting a pretty huge surround. Nice blink, though. The nice micro by WhiteRa, keeping his Stalkers alive as long as possible. But this many Mutas overhead, and that's it, guys. WhiteRa does call GG. So a pretty crazy matchup, lots of back and forth action. Certainly hope you guys enjoyed it. I think this is going to be the final game from the Blizzcon Invitational that I will be casting. I'm going to get back to the Korean replays. I mean, with the GSL going on right now, it's a little bit harder to find those, fresh Korean reps. But I'm looking to get more, and definitely going to bring you more Korean and just pro content in the days to come. Okay? Take care, guys. This is Hunter Starcraft here saying peace out.